Hi, I'm Mike Fiffik from Fiffik Law Group, the LegalShield provider law firm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I'm here to talk to you about 5 no-will nightmares that you want to avoid. Now, I've been practicing estate planning for 30 years, and over that period of time, my law firm has prepared over 40,000 wills, many of those for LegalShield members in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. LegalShield makes it inexpensive, easy, and fast to get your will done. Now, most people believe and understand that getting your will done is something that's very important to have done. Yet, 2 out of 3 Americans don't have their wills done. And you might wonder why that is. Well, some think that it's too expensive, or maybe they feel like they don't have any assets to leave to somebody anyway. But I'm here to tell you that getting your will done is not all about the assets that you have to leave. In fact, it's really mostly about taking care of your family. Now, you may also not know where or how to get started getting your will done. Well, I hope after this brief video that we can move you from the 2 out of 3 that doesn't have a will to the 1 out of 3 that does have their will completed. Now, if you don't have a will when you're listening to this, I want to set your mind at ease right at the outset and tell you that if you don't have a will, the government has one for you. It's called the Law of Interstate Succession, and it was written well over 100 years ago. No worries, right? Well, the vast majority of people are not going to be confident that the government is going to know exactly how to take care of their family if they pass away, or that the government's going to make the same decisions that you might make for your family if you had an opportunity to prepare a will. So if you don't have a will and you trust the government, then you got no problems. But for the vast majority of people, that's going to be a big issue. And so let's talk about a little bit about what a will allows you to do. A will gives you a lot of opportunities to do some very important things, like distribute your assets. Very important thing. Lots of folks don't want their assets to be divided equally among their spouse or their kids, so it gives you an opportunity to make that distribution in a way that reflects your priorities for your own family. It allows you to appoint somebody to be your executor, to execute your plan, to have your wishes carried out after you pass away, somebody that you know and that you trust. You'll also be able to pick somebody to take care of your kids if you have kids that are under 18 years of age, something that's very, very important to many, many Americans. You probably wouldn't want your kids to be managing their own money if they're under a certain age, and you certainly are going to want to pick somebody who would manage your kids' money if they're under an age that you deem it appropriate for them to receive the assets from your estate. And it also gives you the ability to leave money to charities. Maybe it's your church, or maybe it's a community organization that you've been involved with, but many people have a charitable intent and want to leave money to those charities. If you don't have a will, you've really lost the opportunity to take care of those very important things. Now, at the top of the video, I mentioned 5 no-will nightmares that you want to avoid, and here they are. And I guarantee that one of these is your family situation or a family situation of somebody that you know very well. The first is blended families. Now, in blended families, if you don't have a will, the Law of Interstate Succession will probably divide your assets between your spouse and your kids to your prior relationship. Now, that can be a big problem for many people. Perhaps you have the house that you brought into the marriage and it's only in your name. Quite literally, your spouse might have to sell that house and everybody move out of the house in order to split the assets of the estate according to the Law of Interstate Succession. And it's very difficult to undo those types of situations. The second no-will nightmare to avoid is for unmarried couples. And there are lots of unmarried couples these days. Marriage numbers are down, and we have lots of non-traditional relationships that prevail in our society today. If you don't have a will, there is no provision in the Law of Intestate Succession for your long-time live-in person or friend or significant other. That person will get absolutely nothing from your estate. Again, If you have a residence, your name is on it, and you've been living there with your significant other for a long period of time, your significant other is going to need to find a new place to live. That's really not an outcome that most people would want for somebody that they love and care about enough to make them their companion. The third NoWill nightmare to avoid is for single parents. Very, very important. You have an opportunity to decide who's going to take care of your kids if you're not around. Do you really want to leave that decision to the courts to pick somebody that you don't know, who doesn't know your kids, to take care of your kids? You also want to make a decision about who will manage your kids' money after you pass away. Is that going to be your ex? Would you trust your ex to do that for your kids? I mean, most situations, probably not. There are some situations where co-parenting is a peaceful situation and that would be comfortable, but for many single parents, sometimes the other parent isn't around. They're not involved in the kids' lives. That could be a really, really traumatic situation for your children in that situation. Special needs kids are the fourth NoWill nightmare, and this really would be a nightmare. If you have special needs children in your family, they really require some special planning. They might be on some type of government benefit that has a resource eligibility component to it. If you leave them money, you may render them ineligible for some period of time, maybe forever, for those government benefits that they rely on. And your money just gets spent down when it doesn't have to happen that way. That money can be put in a special needs trust to be available for your special needs children, while they also continue to be eligible for those government benefits that they rely on. Now, the last NoWill nightmare situation that you can avoid is you end up not having an executor. You don't get to pick the person who's in charge to carry out your affairs, somebody that you know and trust. Again, do you really want to leave that decision up to the court to decide? Do you want your family to get involved in a fight over who is the one who gets to make decisions for your estate and to carry out what they think are your wishes in your estate? It will also very likely increase the taxes that you pay for your estate and the expenses that you pay for your estate too. So it's really something that's very undesirable to have happen and really quite avoidable if you get a will done. Now, LegalShield provides a great solution for its members because the membership has a will as part of the plan. So if you think that getting a will done is too expensive, LegalShield solves that for you because it's part of the plan. It doesn't cost you any extra money. And oh, by the way, we'll prepare a durable healthcare power of attorney and a durable general power of attorney for you as well, and a living will. All of those are included in your membership. So they've taken care of the expense issue that might be getting in the way of you getting your will done. If you don't know where or how to get started, well, LegalShield takes care of that too. If you're in Pennsylvania, you'll call me. But if you're in any other state, they've got a provider law firm in your state that is just as experienced as my staff is at doing estate planning, who you will call and get the job started. And they make it really easy to do. You can answer a few simple questions on your LegalShield app. You can send in a very simple form, and you'll be connected with a lawyer that is very knowledgeable who will be able to prepare a will, powers of attorney that are tailor-made to protect your family. Not enough assets? Well, if you think that you don't have enough assets, I hope that in this very brief video you come to realize that it isn't just about the money. There are so many reasons why you want to have a will done. If you have kids, you want to name a guardian. You don't want to leave a mess for your family to have to straighten out after you pass away. You want to provide for your family in an organized way. Just creating the organization and the structure and making some very important decisions for your family is really loving your family after you've passed away. Loving them from the beyond is really what a will is. And so even if you don't have a lot of money, you do want to have a will so that you can put your very important decisions about these very important matters on paper. Thank you, and I hope that we have an opportunity to provide services for you soon.